What's going on, you guys? Mr. Allen here, and we've got ourselves a wonderful problem here. And it's crazy. It's not even a right triangle. We're asked to solve the triangle. How the heck are you going to do that with non-right triangle trig? All right, so what we've got here is an obtuse angle, right? This angle right here. We've got a side and then another side, meaning that angle is not formed by the two sides, so we don't have side angle side going on here, which is far better. We have ourselves the angle side side situation, and that leads to the potential of having 0 triangles with this information, 1 triangle with this information, or possibly even 2. So it starts the same for each one. We're going to set up our law of sines and get to work. So for law of sines, we got our sine of angle A over its side across from it, which is our 5.4 inch side. I'm going to disregard the units while we're calculating. Then I've got sine of B, and I don't know anything about that side right there, so we're just going to call that little b. Lowercase letters for our side lengths, and then uppercase letters for our angles, our vertices of the triangle. Then the one that we actually know some information about is our sine of angle C, which is 116, divided by its side across from it, which is 8.3. All right, so now what I can do is I can isolate 2 of these that I actually know enough information about. So this one right here and this one right here, I can cross multiply and solve for angle A. So to do that, we're going to work some of the numbers right here on our scratch paper or whatever, and then we're going to plug them into the TI-84 Plus that we have over there on the right. So I've got 8.3 times the sine of angle A equals 5.4 times the sine of 116. Then I'm going to divide by 8.3 on both sides, and I'll be left with, not sine, 8.3. Then I'll be left with the sine of A over on that left-hand side, and I'll have this whole mess right here, right there. So now into my calculator, I'm going to go ahead and type. We've got 5.4, then we got times sine of 116. Make sure you're in degree mode. If you get something different here, you're going to want to check your mode. All right, I can hit enter, and then I'll divide that all by 8.3. We could type it all in at once. Sometimes I just hit enter, and then I'll go for it. So I got 0.58475, so on and so forth. All right. Now, that's what this is right here. So 0.584 and change. 0.584. I usually write down 3 numbers and then a dot, dot, dot saying, hey, man, this thing goes on forever. I'm not writing down all the numbers, but I'm leaving it in my calculator so I can be most accurate, okay? Now, if I want to get just angle A, what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to take the sine inverse on both sides. And what that's going to do is that's going to cancel out my sine, leaving me with just A. But then I'll type that into my calculator, so I'm going to hit second sine, right? I don't want to type all that in, so I'm going to use my arrow up here, highlight that, hit enter. It's going to copy it down. I can close my parentheses if I'd like, hit enter, and I've got 35.785. So that's my unrounded answer there, right? And this is for angle A. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here, 35.7, and we'll say 9 for this one, right? We'll round it to 2 decimal places when I place it into my triangle. So that's my final answer for angle A. Now, with the law of sines, when we're in the angle side situation, we have to check for a second triangle potential. So the way that we do that is I'm going to take this angle. I'm going to come all the way up here. I'm going to find the supplement of this angle. So 180 minus that 35.785 and change. So 180. And I don't even need to type that in again, right? I'm just going to hit minus. I'm going to arrow up. I'm going to hit enter. It copies it right down for me. I'm going to hit enter one more time, and I get 144. So 144.214 and change is my other potential angle. But we have to make sure that this works along with the already given information. The way that we do that is I'm going to take this 144.214, I'm going to add it to 116. And I need to make sure that the sum of the 2 angles that I'm working with are less than 180 degrees. Why 180 degrees? There's 180 degrees in a triangle. So as long as I'm less than that, then a second triangle exists. So I think we could already probably see this here, but I'll just go ahead and type it in. We get 260, right? So clearly there's not a second triangle. No second triangle. We've only got our first triangle, okay? So second triangle off the table, but we got to finish solving our first triangle. So let's get back to that. So I've got the 35.79 degrees, and I've got my 116. I can find angle B now using that information. So I'm going to take my 116, and I'm going to add the 35, but I'm going to arrow back up in here and get that 35.785. I'm going to copy that down. Hit enter. That's the sum of those two. 180 minus that sum is going to equal my angle for B. So I had 180 minus that 151.785 and change. That gives me the 28.214. So when I plug this in or put this into my triangle here that I'm solving, I'm going to say 28 point, and we got 2,1. So 2,1. All right, degrees, right? So I've got all three angles now solved in this triangle. The only one that I'm missing is this side B down here. So how am I going to figure that out? I like to use the original completed fraction they gave me, which is this one right here that I just outlined in blue. And then I'll use that along with the sine of B. So I'm going to set up that new proportion over here. Now I've got sine of, and my angle B can now be used, but we're going to use that full awful decimal that's in my calculator. So I'm just going to type that. All right, over B equals sine of 116 over 8.3. And I'm going to cross multiply just like I did before. So I've got 8.3 times the sine of 28.214 and change equals B times the sine of 116. I'm going to go ahead and divide by sine of 116 on both sides here. So sine 116. Man, these problems get crazy. All right, so now what I can do is I can type this in. I'm going to have 8.3 times, and then I have the sine of that 28. So I'm going to arrow up. I'm going to hit enter. Boom, it copies it in. And I'm going to divide that by the sine of 116. 116, boom. And I'm going to end up with 4.365, blah, blah, blah. All right, 4.365 and change. If we're doing two decimal places, I'll go ahead and replace my B right there with 4.37. So 4.37 inches. Boom. Answer. So we've solved this one here, that angle there, and the 4.37 inches. Woo! Man, that's a busy problem. We didn't even have a second triangle. That's crazy, right? Only one triangle. We check to see if the supplement of the first angle we find can work with another triangle by adding it to the original angle and seeing if it's larger or smaller than 180. See if we got enough angle for that third one to play. All right? So that's it for that one. One triangle situation, and it was dope. America Freedom, rock and roll, Costco, Riverdog Jenny on the gram, Yo-Ro, right? We got Yo-Ro. Let's see, let's flip that bad boy over, you know what I'm saying? Woo! All right, see ya.